It is time for some FACEIT League. You've made it through your week. It is Friday. Enjoy. We're gonna celebrate. I've got some lower bracket quarterfinals for you. We are in playoffs. We are knee deep in playoffs. We are down to top 6 here currently. We have decided who will make it into season 8 directly into Master Division without having to play through the LCQ. Free pass right into season 8 Master Division. Of course, that's assuming they don't make OWCS first. There is still that, of course, on the line. Top 4 coming out of this playoff bracket will get a direct pass into phase 2 of OWCS qualifiers. Phase 2 will only have 16 teams total. Only 8 of those teams will come out of phase 1. Very few precious slots, and this is one of the best ways, to get a beeline fast pass directly into that top 16. There's a lot on the line here, and we're headed down to our lower bracket. We've got 2 lower bracket quarterfinals going on today. That'll send us into lower bracket semis and into tomorrow and lead into our grand finals weekend, of course, taking place on Sunday on the Overwatch esports channel. So that'll be streamed live there. I'm very much looking forward to that. Always a good time to get on the big stage, get on the big channel, bring our Tier 2 community and our Path to Pro community to the larger esports audience. Always a joy, always an honor. These 2 teams, of course, fighting to get there. And these 2 teams have looked like they could absolutely be championship caliber at points in this season. We've got Ereus taking on Starbits, will be your featured match of the night here. Starbits times Hypnos. So it's a joint thing between the 2 teams. I just call them Starbits because it's the name that's first. I know, I feel bad because I leave Hypnos out of it. We also have SRP Check taking on Dreamlight simultaneously here today. So, we'll be definitely keeping a close eye on both of them. It's win or go home, right? I mean, we're a lower bracket. There's no safety net. Let's get into it. Let's take a look at that bracket and see how we got where we are. It's been an incredibly tight, hyper competitive bracket. So many map 5, both upper bracket matches went to map 5s yesterday. We also had the lower bracket match. Every match went to map 5 yesterday. There was a 3-0 from Dreamlight on this is the one exception. But other than that, we had 15 matches of Overwatch played yesterday between the other 3 matches. Insane. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen, we've had some really close playoffs. I mean, season 6 was hyper competitive. I don't know that it was like this. Look how many map 5s we have had already. We had 2 in opening round. Both upper bracket semis were map 5s, and your lower bracket round 1 was a map 5. We have had 5 map 5s out of 8 matches. Out of 8 matches, 5 of them have gone the distance. It is so hard to judge who's on top. Jaeger right now are looking like the team to beat. They were your #1 seed, having an amazing surprise here. Turbo Smooth looking like the best Vendetta in the region, potentially in all of FACEIT League, right? This Jaeger squad is kind of the team to beat right now. You 3 are your runner-ups. They took the map 5 over SRP Check. This is a rematch of your grand finals from season 6. Man, E3 found their revenge finally there against SRPC. Oh, we Spec, you ready to get in here? Let's do it. We can get in here. Sorry, I was just yapping. I was just going.
No, that's the point.
Looking at Ereus Starbits, the fact that Ereus is lower bracket is a bit ridiculous. They've had 2 map 5ers already. They've already played 10 maps of Overwatch in this playoffs, in this bracket. And now coming up against a very tough Starbits team. They did take the 3-1 last time these 2 met.
I don't know. I feel like close losses to both Gambit and SRP Check. Very close games.
Yeah.
And no disrespect at all to either of those teams, but they are towards the bottom of our leaderboard in terms of map wins. So it doesn't inspire a crazy amount of confidence. Starbits on their hands. They've only lost to a very informed Jaeger. It does feel on paper like they have a bit of a lead going into this, but if any team can have a consistent performance over multiple seasons of Overwatch, even it always has been Ereus, so definitely not out of it yet.
In regular season, I'd have given Ereus the edge here, and obviously, they did win that one. The fact that, just looking at recent performance, you're going, you know what, Starbits may actually be the favorites of this. To me, that alone is kind of wild.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got a Roadhog ban, which is clearly just a Zarya Protect.
Yep.
Oh, no. We're on hold. Oh, why are we in a workshop? I got invited to Workshop Island. Oh no. Oh no. What's happening, Spec?
You play bumper cars with everybody above me. With CNYXC, Liam Neeson, and Michael Fassbender. Fantastic. They just invited you and left you here.
All right.
Yeah.
Serious face. Map 1. We're getting into it. It's Nepal. Let's Nepal. Let's do this.
Do we have second ban?
The second ban was Sojourn.
Soj. Interesting. Okay. So Soj being banned does mean that the hit scan has to be more of a target. So icav and Tricky are going to have to play a lot safer. That being said, Tricky's propensity to lock the Freya is a lot safer, generally speaking, than the Cassidy, because Freya has ways of avoiding a Detta cycle. Cass just has to kind of sit there and take it. Counterpoint though, the Cass is a little bit more raw damage, a bit more consistent, and even much better 1v1 into the Freya. So icav has to worry about Rav. Tricky just has to worry about icav.
There we go. All right, so, ooh, interesting rotation. Try to just sneak into that high ground. You don't see those approach very often at all.
It's very rare.
Yeah, I like the angle. Tricky is specifically looking for that hit scan. Would love to, find a couple of double taps onto icav from here. Of course, icav is at 250, so the 2-tap would not kill them outright. Only kills 225. Guys.
Yeah, Noggin also.
Oh, yeah, fair. So far, it's just the battle of the hit scans, keeping everybody at bay. There's the move in, though.
Oh, there we go.
Tricky's able to land the pairs. Rav goes in for the disruption. And that is a beautiful attack out of the DPS to find the opener.
Still, by no means over, yeah. And icav being dead does mean there's more resources for China, more resources for Lars. And that's why China able to equalize this at 44.
Yeah, CNYXC is down. Suzu trying to keep Majin alive. No such luck. Big overhead will help to finish off Rav as well. This will end up being an Ereus fight win, despite the early loss.
Yeah, it's a pretty uncommittal style of play to give your Freya enough time to hit double bolts, so you bleed out a lot of resources, and also because your hit scan is not looking at the enemy Vendetta at all, then the enemy Vendetta can do whatever they want. China able to find CNYXC, and then you're very, very static here. You're not Majin, of course, on the Hazard rather than the Tsar here. Does give you the ability to play a more pokey tempo like your Freya kind of wants, but it also does mean you struggle quite a bit in the tank trade.
Trash Pan is the one who does the observing for CX. That means I ask you. I mean, I appreciate it. You already do enough. China is able to find that opening pick onto the Freya, so that it does shut that down rather quickly. Nice little two-piece there at the end. Ereus in control, looking in form right now.
Yeah, I mean, with the style you're playing with, again, Rav does not have the resources that China does. And in a meta which is so Detta-focused, it does kind of put you on the back foot somewhat. So I'd almost like to see the swap back over to the Zarya at some point for Majin, but we'll give this the old college try. You've got the supports, you've got the Kitsune Rush on the point. At least you're going to force a strong response from your opposition.
The Hazard, I don't know if the Hazard gets as much value out of a Kitsu as Zarya. I don't know if anybody gets as much value out of a Kitsu as Zarya. It's gonna be a Deadeye in the corner. Nice block. Ooh, good wall. And here comes the approach in. China tried to hit with the Sundering and actually caught CNYXC somewhere through that. Oh, but Tricky with a great move. Lands the fadeaway. We're in a 3v2 here. Starbit's trying to hang on. Areas have the player advantage. I'll get the camera somewhere decent here in a moment.
Indeed, yeah. Unfortunately, you don't get a chance to force out nearly what you want. The Sundering and the Deadeye for the Kitsu, it's not fantastic. So you've got to worry about grab double support ult here. CNYXC doesn't have the sound barrier either to counteract that Graviton. You are on the back foot if you are Starbits to grab on to Dockiy. What a great first pick.
That was so gorgeous. It was just clean. It was just so effortless looking, you know? Oh, Majin's just in deep trouble. That was 600 health for everybody, and a lone Majin caught in the middle. My goodness, a dominant 100-0 here to start things off.
Yeah, it's like 6, 7. That is, in fact, 6 kills that have been taken. Not fantastic, but of course, early days yet.
I see what you did there.
That was an accident, I swear to God. Fingers up to Christ. I did not mean to do that. But hey, I think this gives you an opportunity to decide that the Has was not getting a lot done, right? Majin,
Yeah.
2 and 4, about 2k damage. We're not seeing the same value. We are out of Lars, who is yet to die. You struggle to put the pressure onto the tank. You're not finding scaling onto the squishies, and if you do get turned, then you've really got your knickers in a twist. So I do think this is a lot more viable for what we're seeing currently. But of course, slightly earlier positioning here for Ereus does mean this cat can find so much value.
Majin will try to match. I mean, Lars basically known as the best Zarya in the region. Not to say that we haven't seen them get outplayed before or overstepped before, and that was a massive overstep there. Tries to go down to the bottom of the stairs and just found themselves surrounded by star bits. Majin able to find icav as well, and yeah, star bits will find percentage for the first time, based off of that early overextension.
Yeah, getting first cap is, of course, so important in control, not just because it allows you this defensive positioning, but because it also means that if you do get into 99-99 scenario, you often are the team with the better ult bank. And so they're going to be feeling very comfortable about this. A gift given for Ereus for sure, but not going to be the entire point taken just yet.
Dude, icav just pouring out so much damage. Already 70 towards this opening ultimate. You're beating your supports by a country mile. But it's Dockiy finds the opening headshot. There goes Majin, able to collapse onto Lars. Just Lucio heals. Everybody turns their attention right onto the Zarya, and it's another great fight here out of Starbits.
Yeah, it's exactly what you look to see. You only lose Rav as well, so you, in theory, would be slightly behind your Sundering Blade charge, but China hasn't been that involved anyway, and again, that ult's not that powerful. So you've got leads on all the important check marks, especially that Graviton Surge. This is exactly that defensive position that I was talking about earlier. icav does have the Deadeye. It's a great way of limiting Tricky's options here, because any updraft can be easily punished.
Tricky made a dangerous opening move to try to get the bullet shot in. This is run Rav out. Oh no, Rav stuck around a little too long. That was a bit bold, my friend. Ereus fight revenge.
Tricky decided to punctuate my point about as quickly as I made it, and does get punished for it. Obviously, as we mentioned as well, Rav was incredibly deep, ends up going down to the Deadeye. That was initially aimed for Tricky. But because of that, flip has been found. 80% though means we are just outside of one fight territory. So, judicious time to make this flip. You are Ereus. How do you try and defend this though? You need to get this Kitsu online basically yesterday.
Oh, that was a long distance grab. Lars caught in the Kobe and will not survive. Eventually gets cut down. Meaning, do you invest here if you're Ereus? You're going to go in and throw in the sound barrier to try to match, try to take it. CNYXC is down, so you're actually matching the Kitsu on the other side, not the beat as I was originally thinking, or that you might standard. This has turned into an awkward fight. Without Lars, they're still not able to get anything done, even with the sound barrier.
Yeah, it was very bold there to try to get the grab. Lars can't complete the rotation and ends up getting punished, but it's getting really weird. Teksol goes in with a Kitsu. You still have to fight this, but you're kind of really down on members. Beat needed to keep the survivability up, and Pingu punished.
Yeah, Rav was just able to find their way into that vulnerable back line. Tricky's going to land an ultimate. We're going to get a Sundering on top of the Lars bubble. Does the damage right through the bubble, don't forget. Nobody here to follow up on that grab. A desperate grab out of Lars, and just like that, we're all divided up here on map 1.
Yeah, you see how the pendulum swings with that first fight on control. That's why you're going to be feeling so upset about that mistake from Ereus, because it does get rightfully punished by a team of Starbits caliber. Yep, Starbits X Hypnos now. Momentum on their side, longer sight lines as we head into our third control point. A little bit better for your Frey. I've got to say, things very much looking up for you.
There was an old stat. I mean, this is fairly old, but first fight on control, like on an individual point, won that point. It was like 80 to 85% of the time. That was,
yeah, that sounds right.
I don't know if that's still true this day, but it's by eye test, it certainly feels that way. First fight on particularly these kind of smaller control points in a Zarya meta where you just lock down a point. This first fight feels just imperative.
Maybe look for extended neutral here to try and Play as safe as possible. Nobody wants to give over the opening mistake. Dockiy forced out. The space taken by Ereus and Lars, who fought their way up to the choke. Rav, in on his lonesome. Big overhead. What can he do with it?
That was a wide flank, but ends up being a trade. Okay. Both Dedas come up with one early, 4v4. Ereus with a stronger position and control of the objective. Oh, and just right clicks out of Lars, magnetically finding their way to both supports.
Huge there from Lars. 10% already accrued. I mean, you spoke about the 80% chance, and it feels like, especially on this point, it's more likely than anything else that you just not make any progress, because the right clicks in the choke, the Zarya's ability to deny you with her own bubbles, you're just going to get exploded time and time again. But there's actually an aggro push here through the choke. They want their blood, they want it now. Ereus going to get what they asked for.
I mean, it's not without its faults. icav does fall, but that is the only one. The only death for Ereus in that push towards spawn. Lars is able to build up towards this, grabs away. You can see the taxi back to icav, but Starbits is here. They're gonna be able to clear this choke out, I believe.
Yeah, you need to take the timing though. You can't respect them when they are down 3, but unfortunately they give the time. So Lars, fully stable. Ereus able to burn yet more time. Going for the right side swing is the correct decision, but the grab mid-rotate.
Ninja comes leaping in, gets 4 inside the grab. At least 3. That'll be an easy fight win. But just so much charge. When Lars is the first one to get ult online, Ereus is in a good spot. Like, you know you're in trouble when.
I mean, especially when, like, you look what CNYXC has been getting done, and unfortunately not a lot on the Lucio. Only 70% of the way to this Casino rush. Still CNYXC dead again.
And just gonna put you further behind in the sound barrier. I mean, you know, Pingu is gonna be continuing to build that up. 85%. This is going to have to take ultimates, I think, to get even through the choke. Like, I mean, honestly, Starbit's lucky they don't have to spin to get out of spawn. We'll see if they can make it onto the objective here.
The Kitsu, 95%. The Sundering Blade explodes too. icav gets one more to boot, and Starbit's going to be able to get overtime activated. Ereus come into this lower bracket game with a vengeance.
Put a fork in it. Map 1 is done. Ereus up 1-0.
I don't know, the momentum that each side got off of these first maps, the first 5 victories were actually crazy, right? Because obviously Ereus takes map 100 to 0, so map 3 100 to 0. It's 100 to 40% for Starbits when they get it though. So whilst both teams fantastic on the defense, we could have a conversation about how both of them maybe just struggle with being off the back foot in any sort of sense. So once we move on to some of these more egalitarian map types, right? Like a push, like a flashpoint, then maybe we'll see a bit more close gameplay. Ereus looking strong.
Yeah. That's the areas that found their way at #1 in my power rankings. I've had such high expectations of these teams for 2 seasons in a row now. I felt like this team has been on the cusp of a championship team. They have found their way at some point this season in #1 in my power rankings in season 6 and 7. Because they've shown that kind of potential, that kind of next up. When you talk about one of the big next up tanks coming out of EMEA, Lars is, you know, one of the names that's on the tip of your tongue, I'd say. And I mean, icav right there along with that. It's interesting to see. I don't know. They feel like there's such a peaks and valley team, but yeah, Ereus are looking in form here today. Damn it! Remind me. I'm gonna try to get stats. I need to remember to screenshot and try to get y'all stats. I'm so sorry. I will try to do it for map 2. Yeah, I mean, I can see Ereus making the salty lower bracket run back all the way. Honestly, I can see it through either of these teams, but it was Ereus getting knocked down to lower bracket round 1. And I mean, as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's going to be an angry Ereus with a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the teams who have to play them as well, but I mean, I'm sure we've had this conversation before, but it's still worth mentioning that this is one of the most like stacked brackets we've had in a while.
Dude, so many map 5s.
There's realistically, I would say 6 teams that I thought had a decent chance of winning.
Yeah.
And it's not like the remaining 2 a week either. Like, we've still seen strong performances from basically everyone. So, I don't know. This is some of the best Overwatch we've had in Tier 2 in a hot second, I think. FACEIT League Season 7.
I mean, it's incredible just how competitive Master Division has been this season, and just how this playoffs have been. It's gonna be a wild 3 days. I can't even begin to guess who we're gonna see in the grand finals on Sunday. All I know is we're headed to Route 66 for map 2. We've got a Mercy ban. Whoop, that was the wrong button. We've got an Ash ban. There you go. We're all set. That's what I got for you. Let's get into map 2. It was Ereus banning the Mercy. Starbits, who had first banning the Ash.
If you want. Jesper gonna be in on the Vendetta, or the Venture, rather, of course. I'm not gonna stop mixing up those names, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah. Too easy to do.
You still have the ability for bubble engages on your Ven. Pingu on the Wu Yang allows you to play extended shooting. The Venture can be a bit more of an annoying presence than the Vendetta. Vendetta, you're in or you're out. You're on or you're off. With the Venture, gives you a bit more ability to play within those extremes. So you can play slightly more for the poke here if you're Ereus, a bit more for the push and pull. For Rav, if your sword's not on top of icav's head, you're not doing a lot. But thankfully, that's exactly where he wants to bury it.
And it's gonna go and swing it immediately. Just a little warning swings. Clear off this high ground. And Ereus backs up to the top of Big Earls. Tricky sticks with the Freya and just kind of highlight our hit skills for a brief moment. As Rav thought about committing, but didn't, and then here we're getting a little bit more of that push and pull you're talking about. JesperSwag is going to be the one to anchor the cart for now. That's the bubble engage. Try to swing back as Starbits think they have a turn, but Rav has kind of ended up in an awkward position. Ereus goes up to punish Majin instead. Without the sword of the front line, Lars takes advantage. Now Rav is just awkwardly stuck behind the back line.
Majin walked very deep for a player with neither bubbles nor a lot of HP, so I think rightly punished there. So we had this conversation about Tricky, where I think his best hit scan is his Freya. I don't think there's any particular debate, in fact. I mean, yesterday he was able to force NBHD onto Widowmaker going 10 and 18 on this very map. So he's perfectly comfortable on this hero. All he needs is a double bolt, and he can get an opening pick, but one has to actually connect. Is to be given the opportunity to actually start firing these things in, because so far, very much cowed by the opposing tank line.
I mean, just the fact that he's able to hit icav in the dome from that range is impressive. But, yeah, so it's already down one. JesperSwag just drills through another. There you go. We've already eaten 2 minutes off the clock. Ereus looking good so far.
Still 2 minutes left to go, but getting much closer to both sides' ult cycles. But of course, Ereus, having all the momentum in the world, are going to have a bit of a lead in those. The Pingu bubble, I note, and they're going straight for it. Jesper getting involved.
Oh, the second bolt prevented the stun, but still Majin ended up just surrounded. Kind of caught flat-footed by the ambush. Drop it in the backline. JesperSwag misses the primary fire, but you know what? The drill dash will get it done. Rav will circle around and eventually find revenge for their fallen friends, but it's still going to be a moment here for Starbits to recoup.
The problem with killing people in spawn, though, is that their spawn is there, and your spawn isn't. So seeing people close to spawns means that Starbits walk up, they've got a 5v3, they can take point, they want to invest, they can probably just straight up kill Lars.
They are going to invest. Tidal Blast goes in. It's actually going to cancel the icav ultimate. JesperSwag returns with a tectonic shock. 2 for 1, favoring Starbits at the moment. Trying to chase down CNYXC. CNYXC, able to dodge around, but can't avoid it long enough. Meanwhile, back on the front line, has the aggro draw, been able to give Majin the advantage. Oh, you trade, but you sacrifice yourself to make it happen. Ereus win this out just barely. 60 seconds remaining.
It's so sloppy, unfortunately. I mean, they have this advantage. They don't quite take the timing, but they try for it at the very least. They find the backline pressure, which is nice. But nobody checks Lars, who just full beams Dockiy, who's in a position he just never should be. And because there's no Kiriko, CNYXC doesn't have the sustainability to keep anybody else alive. And Lars, I think, really just putting Ereus and his back in that fight. Majin forced in, bubble forced out. It's a great minor cooldown advantage taken already. From one side, Grav popped, Rav dead.
This is going to be a quick disengage. I thought he might be able to try to counter punch back, try to trade. But Starbits are backing away. I'm scared they're giving him just too much space here. You see Rav trying to catch back up. Tricky ends up falling in this. Tricky's... Oh, no. Grav is out as well, just as Majin goes down. I think it's just Nene Grav. Yeah, right in the middle of the road there. And this is just falling to pieces here for Starbits. They even looked like they had the macro advantage. We saw Ereus invest heavy in the second to last fight. They invested 4 ultimates to hold with a minute to go, but Starbits just throw away their macro. They throw away their ultimates. Now, I mean, okay, you're piling some reinforcements on here. Maybe we're not quite done. We've got a Sundering Blade on the point. Starbits finally actually looking like they're trying to play like a team. icav pops Tricky once again, who can't seem to find anything, but Rav is able to respond, finds a kill on a teksol, but this is gonna get driven away. Yeah, that's it. It's done. Yeah.
I mean, your odds in the actual fight aren't fantastic anyway.
No.
I mean, Rav and Majin, no HP, same for CNYXC. I think you hit the nail on the head, though, where you say they create good situations for themselves, but plenty of individual misplays, I have to say, really coming back to bite them in the behind here. So 55 meters, unfortunately, a pretty tragic attempt here on Route 66. Means that, in my estimation, Ereus are a hop, skip, and a jump away from a 2-0 lead here, and just one map separating Starbits from elimination from FACEIT League Season 7.
God, I didn't even make it around the second corner. Like, that box of victory is so close.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Once again, Lars doesn't die.
I mean, why would he ever? Has he died this series? He
I was about to say, he has
died this series, but
yeah, but he went through the first opening map without dying. Like the first sub map, he didn't die on Nepal. But no, I mean, Starbits had a great look. If you're just joining us, you might think that, man, Starbits are just absolutely getting rolled. I mean, Starbits, took Nepal to, round 3. They had their one round, they looked exceptional. And they were able to snowball that momentum. We've seen them go toe-to-toe here already in this series, but man, that was a schooling.
Interesting we don't see a spawn hold here. Sometimes teams attempt it to
I was wondering.
Squeeze out 2 fights.
Right.
But not everyone even scrims it that often. It's gambling at best. So they're just going to take the standard positioning. Hope they aren't punished too hard for it. They have been better in defensive scenarios. We've seen that in this series. But they're going to have to be perfect.
Majin's, already in a bad spot. This is not the side of big rolls you want to be on. Fortunately, I think some damage from Tricky forced JesperSwag out. I'm not sure if it was Tricky or Rav. Majin's able to survive. Hold on. This has already been a hairy 30 seconds. Cart's almost there.
How is Lars here? He's in more defensive positions than the defenders, and he's able to use the side pressure to take care of Majin. Dockiy's dead to boot. And it's a sad, bad Route 66. Starbits crumble on their own map pick, and it's Ereus now 2-0.
Hashtag Swag Nation. That is Ereus looking like a championship caliber team. That is, I mean, I'm going to reiterate it. That is Ereus looking like the #1 seed and the expectations that I've had for them for 2 seasons now. This is the look when you see him at this kind of peak. This is when you're like, oh yeah, this could very easily be the best team in the region. I think Ereus actually looked better when they're able to ban out the Deta. With this, I do expect to see JesperSwag, and so far that hasn't changed. Ereus able to stick with the Venture in this case. And this falls a little bit more in their comfort zone. I think the times we've seen Ereus struggle this season has been against the Deta. Starbits could be in real trouble here, Spec.
Yeah, I think they definitely are in real trouble. The reverse sweep needed to stay alive here in EMEA Master Division. See if it starts in Suravasa. Feel like we do need to see a bit more from Tricky. I think we did some good moments on Nepal. Unfortunately, it's dead silent on Route 66. That can't continue. And I think the fact that Freya on Sura, just very, very strange. Not so likely. So I think back to the Soj. Again, one of his good picks. And then go for some aggressive swings. Maybe eventually land some noggins. I think that's what we kind of have to see. Standard comp, essentially, for Ereus. Standard for them, at the very least. And when you see a Lucio ban, this is about what you expect, especially with the Vendetta. More on the other side, but again, Majin trying the hazard once more. Rather than the Tracer, Jesper on the Venture. The 1v1 absolutely sucks for Starbits, but you do have a very, very diveable backline.
And that's exactly where they're going to look. They'll pick up Pingu immediately. Backline is toast. Nice aggressive attack there. Nice aggressive move out of Majin and Rav. Rav going over to the Tracer. We'll end up trading with Tricky in the end, but we still should get a Starbits first cap, and that's how you bounce back after a rough Route 66.
Love it when teams follow my predictions. Eats some early pressure there. Starts off from Majin. Rav's there to follow up. Teksol, Pingu go down, and there's not anything Lars can do, even if he's playing out of his mind. First cap on market. We spoke about how powerful it is on control. It's the same thing on Flashpoint, but less than slightly. Now you've got to cross this long extended space into Haz shooting, into Tracer shooting, into Soul shooting. Bubbles should be forced by this. At the very least, Lars should be kept honest. That's all before that beam even finds value.
The half charge does have a forced bubble that's just taking damage from all sides. Really, we got to see CNYXC. CNYXC is just throwing in so much damage with these orbs. You saw him just pummeling Lars. Got that last bubble out, and the moment that happened, Majin made their move in. Another great team fight here from Starbits.
Talk about just how dominant Ereus were on Route 66 and shoes on the other foot now. It's been 2 fights now where it feels like they can't even square up to the plate before somebody gets knocked back down. Now 90% they can't even touch. It's a brutal market taken. And I want to say that, yep, first flashpoint in favor of Starbits. They've got the downpour, they've got leads, and basically everything that matters. They're going to be hitting early here. I'm assuming they're going right in this choke mid-rotation battle.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to linger on that overhead for long because this fight's going to break out quick. I think the bubbles were able to protect against the downpour. Perhaps icav was stuck, but they're in the back. No follow-up there. So it looks like Majin's going to disengage, but Rav catches JesperSwag. Why is JesperSwag down here?
Jesper was so deep. His entire team was isolated, so 4 people turned onto the bench. It doesn't matter if you can burrow, if nobody even lets you go there. And first pick, first cap coming through from Starbits. They look like a different team. They look like an entirely different team to what we were seeing on Route 66.
I haven't had a chance to really acknowledge how good the Hazes looked into this. You're talking about not taking the Zarya matchup. Here the Kitsu fight. Majin fights great value. Great pick onto JesperSwag, able to square up there. Tidal Blast invested in. CNYXC trying to chase out some kills, but it looks like it was fended away. Areas are still threatening on the precipice here.
Feels like mostly Lars and Pingu, though. The crossfire, very, very powerful. And so, as long as nobody just allows themselves to get microwaved by that high charge particle cannon, then they should be kind of A-okay. Imagine back and with the respawns, see what Starbits can do. But they're giving a lot of respect here. They know that a late death here is going to give so much momentum back to the other side. Majin's taking a lot of damage.
They ends up having to use the spike wall just to protect themselves. They're still kind of in running away mode. Stuck in a corner here will just get melted. No ult necessary. I guess icav did throw down the OC, but I feel like that was more of a distraction. Oh, Dockiy. Nice trade.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Shouldn't matter too much. I'm assuming living here is too much to ask, but the others... Oh, grab?
Oh, well.
Just spiteful. Lars is the playground bully here. He just shoved Majin in a locker and then just packed up the backline to boot. It's all of their lunch money, man, and now it's 17, now almost 80%. You can touch, I believe, if you're Starbits, but you've had most of your time here stolen from you.
It's CNYXC and Dockiy ended up in the same locker, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Tectonic shock out of JesperSwag. We do get the touch from Rav. Jesper here, I mean, some chunky damage on the Dockiy and Tricky. Beautiful drill dash. Will take care of the former. Majin down. We're going to be knotted up here on Suravasa.
It's not winnable. Maybe it is. Rav lands the pulse with 3v3. No tank advantage for either side. OC rips. Tricky at least zones the space, but a bubble to JesperSwag allows Ereus more aggression.
Tricky's able to dodge the stun with the slide, but JesperSwag will still find their prize in the end, and Ereus will still find that point. Valiant attempt there out of Rav and Tricky. They end up spinning their DPS ults to make it happen. We're headed to the other side of the map.
Mine's trying to clutch that out. I think they were in a pretty good scenario for it. Unfortunately, Tricky didn't have the HP nor the cooldowns to swing, and so the OC was pretty easily kited. Unfortunate, but it happens. And you're heading into the next fight not being particularly behind on checkmark, so you haven't lost too much. You're very likely looking for a start with the Hazard ultimate, that downpour, and then using a bubble once those of the Zarya are expended.
Majin leaps back in after hiding off coast side. Downpour looking to catch the backline, but a great swift step from Teksol. Get out and get a Kitsu win. You run into Tricky down low. Majin cleans up the other support, but Ereus have control. JesperSwag's down. I don't think Ereus is going to be able to hold on to this. They're going to get surrounded quick.
Yeah. Cap going to come through from Starbits. icav so low, but allowed to escape. Rather, unfortunately, just needs to hit a couple more pulse pistol bullets. But it's pretty consistent what we see here. Any fight that we see going in Ereus' favor is because Rav or Majin or both are able to get on top of Teksol, on top of Pingu, and punish them. Here, Jesper, you're way too low HP to be peeking at, my man.
Five, 8, 4, 40% on the board. Lars, you gonna try to push this? Oh? Lars still poking and prodding here. Will maintain the charge, has the bubble to play with, moves on to the point. You're going to draw out the icav, or use the icav OC to move in, drawing off the Dockiy Kitsu, that is. That Kitsu, you just can't overpower it. Oh, I say that as Majin does not get their spiked wall down in time. Why did I start to open my mouth?
Tricky gets his one, but I imagine that's going to be about it. Just Rav remaining. Recalls off, gives the time, but 94%. All you need is that one fight. Unfortunately, considering how fast Flashpoint takes up, all your opponents need is two, and Lars is one guaranteed with his grab, surely.
There's not really a whole lot to fend that off. One thing, I mean, the Lucio banned out, you don't have a sound barrier into this. Very difficult to survive through. I mean, for anybody to survive through a Lars grab. Once again, we get the coast approach from Majin. Does have Dockiy here to try to back him up. Playing on top of the spiked wall. That was a clever little move. He's able to leap out. Would love to see if they can circle back around and catch Teksol. We'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, back on the point. Remember, Lars does have that grab ready to go. It's going to be CNYXC just going to bubble themselves, but that grab does come through. Pingu with the tidal blast. And this has just turned into a one-fight situation. It took so long for Starbits to set up. And they are still not able to get it done. 2-1 here on Suravasa for Ereus.
Yeah, it's unfortunately looked very disjointed there from Starbits. I think they were looking for backline pressure. Realistically, with their ults, they should have been playing for Tricky going OC from high grounds. But because they spent so long in the setup, they haven't forced the grab yet. So Lars just waits till OT, grabs a couple, burns through the bubble to boot, and now one flashpoint away from Starbits being out of FACEIT Master Division. They're going to have to fight like hell to stay alive. Majin, low HP, has to fight like hell just to live.
Tricky with an overclock. Pushes through hallway, rotates in, gets a good headshot on the Lars. Lars at below half, another good one on the way out. But there's just not enough people left here, not enough red jerseys to follow up. CNYXC is down. And this is looking rough here for Starbits. Just not getting it done here, Spec.
It started so well as well. That's the really frustrating thing, I have to say. Because they had, like, 2 flashpoints of playing really strong. And then once things started going against them on Ruins, then suddenly it just looks so much weaker. So many strange setups. icav so bold peeking into this, taking all this damage and not even caring.
JesperSwag, oh, I mean, just knee-deep in the back line. That was a bit ridiculous. Kitsu is on the point. Lars is trying to just come finish this map. We'll get a pair.
Done it as well.
Maybe. There's a little bit more time left than I was thinking. We still got time for one more fight. One more chance. There's going to be a Kitsu available here for Dockiy. Kitsu advantage.
icav with the OC really should be shooting the walk up, in my opinion. If you let Dockiy get to the point and drop that Kitsu, it might be awkward. The harder you make it, the more resources you force out, the higher your chance of punishing the Kitsu, not even allowing it to come through to boot. So great position from icav. Majin has to expend cooldowns to cross, and his team don't have that luxury.
Oh no, Majin cannot die here. We're down at 100 health. It's going to take the rejuvenating wind to get him up. The Kitsu, I mean, is just off point. It has to be used through this hallway to even get close. JesperSwag and icav have cleaned up. You did get an OT, but it's looking like it's going to be short-lived. Ereus will take this one in a 3-0 and move on to your lower bracket semifinals.
That's going to be the loser, I believe, of Mu3 and Jaeger. Oh, no, that's a lie. It's the winner, sorry, of Dreamlight and SRP check.
Correct. Yeah.
We're going to be playing. Tough game for sure, but like I said, I feel like with the Ereus we're seeing today, I've got confidence in their ability to do it. Not always playing the hard meta, obviously having JesperSwag come in to play that bencher, but when he does, it's a bloody unit, I have to say. And as well, some great ideas to set up good positions for themselves with the bans. icav on their Cassidy was going to be a worry for me. I said he might be exploited by the enemy vendetta. We didn't see that happen at all. Instead, either on the Soj or the Cass, making sure he keeps the enemy flex DPS firmly honest, and great picks to boot. And adapting quickly to Starbit's curveballs. Very impressed with what I saw.
I neglected to get y'all stats on any of the 3 maps. I'm terrible. I'm so sorry.
Happens, bro.
I am so sorry. Because I was like, oh yeah, we should go look at some stats. Oh, fail.
Yeah.
Fail.
I mean, the end of game stream is just so nice, and then suddenly it's gone.
That was dominant. I thought we were gonna potentially be in for another map 5 here. I thought we were gonna at least go for 4. We saw Starbits take a map off of Ereus in regular season, and like you mentioned, just the way that we had seen. If you go back and look at our playoff bracket, looking at Starbits' performance through here, I mean, granted, both teams had played 10 maps to get to this series. Both teams had won and lost a map 5 to get to this series. But the way that we had seen them playing, I mean, Starbits did it against tougher opponents. Took Jaeger, took your number 1 seed to a map 5, and they have looked like the team to beat. We were talking about Starbits being the potential favorites coming into this matchup, but wow, what a shellacking.
I said they were favorites. I'll stand by that prediction, but when we actually get into the lobby, it's simply not that. I think Ereus had better plans. I think they executed better. I think Majin tried the Has a couple times on Sura. I didn't mind it so much, but especially on Nepal. And because of all this and more, obviously it's Ereus who will be continuing forward, but still, strong season from Starbits. I don't think they're going to be mad about how well they performed here in playoffs at all.